Welcome to the Podium. This is a weekly sports show. We shoot live every Thursday here in sunny Hollywood, though not so sunny today. It's a little overcast. It's cold as fuck.
Yeah.
I have a cold as well, actually. We have the LA comedians. We have Niles, Abston. We have Eric Abbenante. And then we have the Chicago sports journalist, the man with all the fucking knowledge.
He's back.
The dude.
Hey, you guys held it down last week. Shout out to Tom.
Yeah. Hey, don't leave me with all these white people again, bro.
Yeah, we like our comedian friends, but in the end, you're the one who actually knows shit. He's just like talking shit.
Tom knew his stuff though. Tom knew his stuff. Yeah. I like
in Boston.
Yeah, Boston white guys know sports, man. They may be delusional when it comes to their teams, but
and like race and stuff. But when it comes to sports,
ask Adam Jones. right field, baby.
Also, it was crazy. I'm sick right now. It's rough, but I'll deal with that. I had a roast battle at the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
No one showed up because Dave Chappelle was there. Pretty much. It was great. It was great. Russell, I gotta say one thing though, since I do roast battle. If I ever had to do a roast joke about you, I'd talk about like you're a guy who like you're 22, but like you look like you're from the decade of the 70s. Like I've never understood that. Like you look like straight out of the 70s. It's so cool. I found out you're 22. I'm like, is he a time traveler? Like it's just like he's got a timeless cool look.
That joke bombed like a lot of the other nights.
Yeah, it's been a rough week. It's been a really rough week. I'm not operating at full capacity.
It's my turn in the belly room tonight, so we'll see how that goes.
I'm sure you'll do better than I will.
Comedy Store tonight, 10 o'clock, but whenever you see this, the show will be over, so. But hey, hypothetically, I'm sure you would support me and come see the show.
By the way, he is doing, him and our boy Arthur are doing Crack 'em Up today. It's a big show. How do you feel?
I am really excited, man. It's the first time performing at the Comedy Store, so it's just like, it's a big deal. I'm excited.
That's dope, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
It's a big lineup. There's a lot of talented comedians.
Yeah.
And it's ran by Nichelle Murdoch,
yeah.
and there's actually like a diverse lineup of comedians.
Right.
You see a lot of different styles of comedy and like a bunch of young black and other minority comedians that normally don't get shots on lineups all the time.
Right.
And it's such a cool collection of people.
Exactly.
Akila Aluko on there.
Yeah, she's on the show. She's so funny.
There's so many comedians that
so
one day you might actually know, and they're on this lineup, and so I'm really proud of him for being on it.
Yeah, appreciate it. The coolest thing about it is like it's for one of the bigger comedians on the show. It's his birthday, Mitch Marchand, and he's famous because he's the dude at the end of the movie Juice that tells Q, "You got the juice now." So like he's on the lineup. He's real cool. He writes for the Marlon Wayans show and stuff like that. So he's like the headliner. It's his birthday. So I'm excited. Excited about that. He's a cool guy.
You're gonna fucking kill tonight. If I don't die from my cold, I will be there.
Hey.
I will be there, and I'll be supporting him. But anyway, should we get to the sports, guys?
Yeah.
All right. So we organize our topics. It's called the Podium. We organize them gold, silver, and bronze according to what's the most important story of the week, what we think is the biggest sports story of the week. Mm-hmm. The World Series just happened. We don't want to go through our bronze and silver first. We want to get straight to the gold. We just want to talk about the World Series today. So, Russell, start us off. What's your gold medal topic about the World Series today?
For me, it's basically, let me first start off by saying we've had two amazing World Series in a row. If you think of 2016 with the Cleveland Indians and the Chicago Cubs, 7-game series that went down the wire, extra innings. And then this year, 2017, two equal match teams, the Astros and the Dodgers, going to 7 games. First, let's start by talking about why the Astros won. And so if you break it down by why the Astros won, and you look at their starting rotation, right? You got Justin Verlander, pitched well, since he came to the Astros at the trade deadline, was 11-0 through the playoffs. Didn't get a win in the World Series, but it was because Justin Verlander pitched so well that keep the Astros bullpen fresh. Mm-hmm. If you look at the other side, the Dodgers bullpen wasn't as fresh as they probably could have been down the stretch.
Right.
So you see how those different sides contract a little bit. And then the stars showed up for the Astros.
Yes.
You think about George Springer, .379, 5 homers, 7 RBIs in the World Series MVP, of course. Carlos Correa hit .276 with 2 homers, 5 RBIs. Jose Altuve, he didn't hit particularly well in the World Series, but he had 2 huge home runs.
Yes.
1 in 2 going back to back with Correa. And the other one in Game 5, a big 3-run home off of Clayton Kershaw, I believe. So, other than Alex Bregman, had an excellent defensive playoff.
Yeah, he did.
So many highlights.
So, their stars showed up. And to me, I think that's a key reason that the Astros won the World Series.
Yes.
On the opposite side of that, if you look at the Dodgers, their stars didn't show up.
Nope.
If you think about Clayton Kershaw, he might be him and Kenley Jansen were, great as they always are. If you look at that game yesterday, Clayton Kershaw did everything he could to try to keep the Dodgers in that game. You could argue that Clayton Kershaw should have started because Yu Darvish was atrocious again in the second and World Series start. But you look at my boy Cody Bellinger, that was not the greatest series for him. 143, a homer, and a World Series record 17 strikeouts. That's not going to be done.
Yeah.
Justin Turner, you could tell that the Astros made it their mission to not let Justin Turner beat them.
Yep.
Hit 160 for the homer.
Yep.
Corey Seager coming back off of his injury. Started the series well, but cooled off later in the series, 222. And then Yasiel Puig, who had a really good playoff, went cold the wrong time, 148 with 2 homers. So their stars didn't play as well as the Astros stars. And to me, when the series is as evenly matched as this one was, it's going to be something like whose stars show up.
Right.
And the Astros stars showed up when it mattered the most. And, they ended up winning the series.
So true. So true.
So I agree with you that Clayton should have started over you. I'm gonna ask you guys this. Yu Darvish said in an interview that it wasn't even his dream to play in the World Series. That growing up in Japan, his dream was to play in their version of the World Series, their championships, and so. He kind of said that before Game 7 when he pitches, it's not my dream to win Game 7. Do you think that kind of affected it? Like it's someone who technically this isn't really something he's like into that as much as like a Clayton Kershaw?
I don't put too much weight in some of these things these guys say. Because at the end of the day, you're a baseball player. Let's play baseball. And it's just like he had when we picked him up, he had a really good season going to the playoffs. He had a good playoffs. So I'm just like, if that wasn't his dream, he was playing pretty damn good for it to not be his dream. Honestly, you could argue that this was that was maybe the worst pitching performance he had in a Dodger uniform this year. And it was Game 7. And it was the Game 7 of the World Series. And honestly, I can't even really be mad at him because I hold it on Roberts, man. That was I think David Roberts is a great coach. That was a really bad decision not to start Clayton Kershaw. I think he's top 3 pitcher in baseball. Starting is Game 7. If he can only go 3 innings, let him get those 3 innings in. Because when he pitched 4 innings, 4 strikeouts, 2 hits, why didn't he start the game if he was that fresh? And like some people are saying, like, well, he's already playing from behind, so there might have been extra adrenaline. Dog, if you need extra adrenaline in Game 7 of the World Series, you don't need to be there. You know what I'm saying? So Clayton Kershaw, if he starts that game, I was even talking to my dad last night, if they just put him in after that terrible first inning that you had, we still have a shot. Then we were down 2-0. Well, I feel like we could have got the bats cracking, but I think when you're down 5-0, 2 innings in, it's just kind of like, I feel like you're trying to dig yourself out of such a big hole. Some of those guys are swinging for the fences every time they get up the bat. Some people swinging when they're up 3-0. I'm just like, you don't have those things in your head when you're only down 1 or 2. And I think being down 5-0, the Dodgers are such a young team. I felt like this insurmountable wall they were trying to get through. Even though Clayton Kershaw pitched his ass off, like he's
the only reason they had a chance.
Only reason, because the bats were not cracking at all, and it was a bad game. I feel like they played one of their worst games, and it was the last game of the series. So
I'll ask both of you this: like, separate games 1 through 6. Just Game 7. Do you think it's on Dave Roberts and the coaching staff?
Yeah.
Because I feel like Game 7, the classic idiom is all hands on deck.
Sure.
It should be more.
Yeah, they still should have hit the ball.
It shouldn't be, but in terms of your pitching where you set the lineup, it should be more of like a coalition of efforts. Like some people do 3 innings, some people do 2 innings.
Yeah.
It shouldn't use. I felt like he was just playing a standard game, and it's game 7.
Yeah.
It's literally your last game. You're supposed to throw everything out there.
Everything in the kitchen sink.
I think you start with your leader, Clayton Kershaw.
Yes.
You don't start with you, Darvish. But what do you guys think?
I would go with Clayton first. Maybe you use you in the middle for some middle relief. Maybe. But I say you ride Clayton until you can get to Morrow and Kenley. That's how I felt.
You know, to me, I think hindsight, of course, is 2020, as we all know. But
True.
I don't necessarily think there was a problem starting you, Darvish. I agree with Niles. 2 innings would have been fine, and then you go to Clayton Kershaw for 4. That'll take you to the 6th, maybe the 7th inning.
Yeah.
If you look at Astros, what they did, Lance McCullers said after the game, I really didn't have that much in me for its game, but I told them I'd give them everything I had, and he gave them 2 and a third innings.
Exactly.
And that carried them, had Charlie Morton pitch really well.
Stopped us from scoring.
Liriano, and they had a collect. Even Justin Verlander, who pitched the night before, was available if they needed him.
Exactly.
So, I think after 1 bad inning of you, Darvish, there's no tomorrow. You can't afford to let him struggle through a lineup that has been tearing the cover off the ball, especially we have like George Springer coming up, who ended up being the World Series MVP. You can't let him face you, Darvish, who was tipping his pitches the entire game.
Yeah, George Springer had a great series at the plate. The way the Astros hit the ball in game 5 and game 7, textbook, man. Like if you want to be a power hitter, go and watch highlights from game 5 and game 7 and watch the way those dudes are running the ball.
And even game 7, if you think about it, all the offense, all the home runs in this series, and you look at that first inning, the Astros manufactured 2 runs.
Yes.
After an error, they moved the runner over, they got the runner in, and it was their superstar that did it. Jose Altuve hit a ball on the right side to drive in the first run.
Right.
They got a single up the middle to drive in the second run. Like, they hit their home runs throughout the series. Of course, the record throughout the World Series and the season, of course, as people know.
Right.
But they got 2 runs on the board in the first inning, put pressure on the defense, and then got a 2-run homer from George Springer. So, they did everything right. It's easy to blame Dave Roberts, and he definitely had some things he could have adjusted.
Yeah.
But I think a bigger deal was the approach of the Dodgers in that game 7.
Yeah.
They had opportunities.
Right.
They left.
We had 6 people on base.
On base.
We had 6 before. I think the 7th inning, we had 6 people on base, six base runners. So I was like I said, I blame Dave Roberts for not starting Kershaw, but I can't blame him for guys not hitting the ball. I can't blame him for Cody Bellinger striking out 7 million times. I can't blame him for that. And then it's with Cody Bellinger, it was his first World Series. You know what I'm saying? He's a rookie. Sometimes
it's rookie year.
It's his rookie year. Me and Cody Bellinger are the same age. I get nervous asking people, can I plug stuff in at Starbucks under their table? So dude, I can't really get mad at him. He had a great season. I love my Dodgers at the end of the day. I was blessed to be able to go to 5 games this year, 2 of them being playoff games. Really fun season. I think we'll be back because the team's so young. Clayton Kershaw's in his prime, so we'll be all right. That was tough. That one was a tough one to swallow. To have such a great Game 6 performance and then wet the bed the next day, that was...
But it's been it really has been one of the best World Series ever. Game 5, do you think Game 5
Game 5
some people say Game 5 might be the best modern World Series game ever.
It has to be up there, man. When Puig hit that home run, I couldn't believe it, bro. I was just are we about to come back? I couldn't believe it. It was such a good game. If somebody ever says baseball is boring, show them that game.
Yeah.
That was an amazing game. And the thing was, the pitching wasn't that bad. Game 5. It's just guys were just really in the zone at the plate.
It's a ballpark for offense.
Yeah, Minute Maid for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Niles, do you want to go to your gold medal topic on the World Series now?
Mine was gonna be more about Dave Roberts. Not even gonna lie.
Okay, we can continue.
Yeah, so we can.
So Dave Roberts, what specifically?
Just not starting Kershaw. I just think you go Game 7, you go with the best guy. You know what I'm saying? That it's it. There's Russ said, there's no tomorrow. I didn't when they said Yu Darvish was getting a start. I did that. It didn't sit well with me when they first said, and I love Yu Darvish. you have Clayton Kershaw. Like, do it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I actually do think Clayton refuted his MO that he was like he wasn't clutch in the playoffs. I thought he played really good in the playoffs.
He played great. I think this is his best put together playoffs.
Game 7 in particular, like he stepped into a dumpster fire, and he really was the only reason that they stopped the bleeding.
Right.
And so I don't know. Do you think Clayton Kershaw like erased that, Russell?
No, I definitely do. Clayton Kershaw is one of the best pitchers in the history of Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
And his last thing that he couldn't get over was that playoff barrier.
Right.
And so he's been, for the last 2 playoffs, he's pitched really well.
Right.
Pitched really well last year. They just couldn't get past the Cubs, who won the World Series.
Right.
This year, he did everything he could to win that game last night. Honestly, if you think about it, that game was on pace to go 8, maybe 9-0 Astros.
Yeah.
And he in there and shut them down like he said there for the rest of the game. And if the Dodgers could do anything with runners in scoring position, who knows? Like they would come back for the rest of the series. You never know how guys can do in different situations, especially starters coming out of the bullpen.
Yeah.
So that game could have went a lot differently if the Dodgers were able to manage to put a run or 2 up in some of those innings when they had runners at first and second and third.
Right.
But no, I think Clayton has completely obliterated that playoff bug that he had, and it just added to the greatness that we know from Clayton Kershaw.
Right.
You brought up something I wanted to touch on. The Dodgers left, I think, 8 or 9 people stranded on base. They only lost by half that.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. Do you think it was the hitting, or do you think it was like some of the plays by like Bregman and company? Because I know in particular Bregman had a couple of highlights for this World Series.
Bregman was fantastic.
Yeah.
There were a couple of shots right to the base or in the hole where he made an outstanding dive that would have probably been left field for a base hit and moved some of those runners over. I know one would have gotten a run in.
Right.
He was in the zone. That's baseball.
Yeah,
baseball.
I think it's a little bit to do with the great defensive plays, but also this in fact, leaving guys runners on base is why we lost Game 5 before it went into extra innings, because we left Cody Bellinger on third.
And that's how you let them back
outs,
into it.
And that's how we left them back in the game. We bring Cody Bellinger across, we win Game 5, and we go back. We go into Game 6 tied. You know what I'm saying? I mean, no, we were going into Game 6 up. So it's just like, we left a lot. We let a lot of runners on base in the games that we lost this last series. So
before we get to my topic, just Niles, you're a big LA fan, and I don't know if you know, LA Dodgers fans, like as soon as they were down, I'm sure like half people jumped off the bandwagon before the game even. Right. And it's a weird fan. You're an actual diehard fan.
Since I was a kid.
3 generations, right? 3 generations of Dodgers fans at least. Run me through your emotions going through Game 7.
Man, I was hyped, and then when they scored those first 2 runs, I was like, damn, this is real. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like in my head, I was like, damn, like this. After we were down 5-0, I was like, we're probably gonna lose, but I think we're gonna make a good run out of it. Like I kind of felt we were gonna lose the game, but I also felt we were gonna make a really good, entertaining last couple innings, putting something together. Cause the way we came back in Game 5, you know what I'm saying, and just all those kind of things. So I wouldn't say I thought we were gonna lose, but I never lost that hope that we could make a little comeback. Cause I think if any team could have done it, it's us with the talent we have in the lineup. But yeah, a lot of range of emotions at Game 7. And then I was doing a rehearsal for a short film, so I was like checking my phone in between lines and stuff. So yeah, it was rough.
How did your dad or your grandpa, did they say anything?
I talked to my dad last night. He was a little upset. He was a little upset, but we're gonna be back next year, so it's gonna be all right.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's
because the Dodgers haven't won a World Series since '88. So
since that magic home run.
He was my age the last time the Dodgers won.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. And I wasn't even alive. So it's just like, yeah, we wanted it. We wanted that.
I mean, I guess one thing we could talk about, they did spend the most this year. The Dodgers spent the most.
Yeah.
And honestly, a lot of the guys that came through for them were not the big contract guys.
No, they weren't.
It was like also like the farm system and
They
just
weren't.
random pickups. So, do you think this is a team that next year can go forward? Because I think people assume the Astros.
Yeah, the Astros.
Because they're so young, the foundation's so solid.
I think they said the Astros and the Dodgers both 5-1 odds to be back next year, like a rematch. I could see it again because like I don't see anybody in the AL stopping the Astros. They're just so young.
No, the Yankees are.
I think the Yankees can make they could have honestly been one of those teams this year had some things gone a different way to them. They're still a really young team. Cleveland Indians are amazing.
They are.
If one or two bounces go their way, they would be there instead of the Astros. So
I just don't see the two of them beating the Astros in a 7-game series. Those guys are just so good.
To me, I think the Cleveland Indians still have better pitching overall than the Houston Astros.
I agree.
Which could end up being the difference.
But the Indians don't hit the ball like the Astros do. That's the problem.
Do you guys think this will be a one-year blip, a la like the Kansas City Royals, where they kind of came up and kind of fell down really quickly? Do you think this will be more of a longer-lasting, kind of like the San Francisco Giants when they won like 3 out of 5 or something like that?
They're going to be.
Do you think they're going to be kind of more dynastic?
Yeah, especially if they get.
No, go ahead, Niles.
I think they'll be around, especially if they find out a way to keep all those guys on the payroll because it's like with Correa. I think Carlos Correa is one of the best players in baseball. 23 years old, nothing gets past him at short, and he's automatic at the plate. So I just, guys like that, you got guys producing like that at 23, 24, 25. George Springer, I love George Springer, but he really like surprised me how clutch he was this series. Like I didn't know he was gonna hit the ball that well. You know what I'm saying? So guys like that, they're gonna be back, man. I feel like this is something we should get used to. Houston's gonna be in the deep playoff runs for the next couple of years.
Yeah. That's pretty. I think we pretty much wrapped that up. Really quick, my gold medal topic about the World Series. I thought this was pretty significant, and it actually kind of got swept under the rug. Yuli Gurriel makes a pretty insensitive. He does the Asian slant thing. It's very inexcusable. And then you made a good point. How do you not know you're on camera in the World Series?
Yeah, and that's not an excuse to be like, all right, go do your racist stuff off camera. I'm not saying
but
that.
But it's also like there's racism and stupidity in the same cake here.
And I was like, bro, like, of all the biggest stages, why would you taint the game and do like we're trying to have fun and watch baseball? Why would you do something stupid like that? You know?
Yeah.
And and I you know me, I don't like anything like that, especially with the climate, the racial climate, social climate they're in. Like, why do something like that? It's just you're stupid. Like, why would you do that? It made no sense, and it wasn't needed. And it's interesting that the Major League Baseball didn't do anything suspension wise or.
Yeah, what do you think about him being suspended 5 games next year? What do you think?
I think that's easy.
They dropped the ball there. I think. The proper thing would have been to suspend him for 1 game,
right,
and let him appeal because obviously in the middle of the World Series, they dropped the ball there.
Yeah, it's
but
just
there's
like
no place for that.
It's like he's gonna be kissing his ring on opening day. He's not gonna care if he can't play that night. Like it's just like I think that's the easy way out. Yeah, we're gonna suspend him for 3 games at the beginning of next season if they even do that. But yeah, it's just ridiculous, and then he gonna tip his helmet to you, Darvish, at the plate. Like, nigga, no, we not friends. You racist. Like,
yeah, that is rough.
Like a white dude called me the N-word, and the next day was like, "What's up, homie?" Like, if you don't get out of my face, like, no, bro, don't tip you. And I feel bad for you because the way we view sports in America is just like when that sport is going on, that's the most important thing. So I feel like to keep the focus on playing well and the team and all this kind of stuff, you kind of just had to gloss over it. And I guarantee you, as a person of color, that was probably something that really bothered him. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Just he's a grown man making a lot of money playing baseball. The dude has feelings at the end of the day, and he's still an Asian person at the end of the day. That stuff didn't. And so I'm sure what he did say at the press release and just how he acted. I mean, he acted with pure class in the face of like that was really just uncalled for. But I'm sure that bothered him a little bit. And when you're a professional athlete, I think with such a high stakes moment, he kind of had to like put being a regular person away to be the pitcher for the Dodgers, and so like that sucks. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah,
that wasn't cool.
And I think it's interesting that I remember, I think it was 2008 Beijing Olympics, the Spanish national team.
Yeah, they did that.
Not only did they do it in front of cameras, they did it at a photo op with lighting, and someone said,
Right.
"Hey, can we have a second take on that? That first
Right.
take wasn't that good."
Yeah, we want to do the slant eye thing one more time.
Yeah, and so like that. The one thing, I have a psychology degree. The one thing from studies they've found about racism is that most of the time it's about exposure to other cultures, and so.
Yeah.
Spanish people and Asian people, don't have a lot of exposure to each other. I remember my friend, he was from Northeast China, and he was telling me, like, his dad is afraid of, like, black people, because he never seen black people. He had literally never seen black people. And so it's just like, it's kind of an exposure thing, and it's kind of unfortunate, but it's still, there's no excuse. There really is no excuse, but it is something you see cross-culturally where certain cultures that don't have exposure to other cultures, they have pretty ignorant views on them because they don't really know much about them.
Interesting.
But is that pretty much everything for that topic?
Yeah, man.
All right.
We're good.
So we're going to be right back. We have a quick commercial break for Niles' very own show, Secret Black People Meeting. And we'll be right back with our picks and our silver and bronze medal podium topics right after this commercial.
Out in Tennessee, there's a White Lives Matter movement march, and apparently the white nationalists decided to join in. They even brought their own chants. Listen here.
White nations! White nations! Now we start the deportation! Now we start the deportation!
Look, now you may find that offensive, but it's still the most fire freestyle bar by a white person since 2017. Sorry, Eminem. Should I drop this hot pot on Donald Trump's head? Probably not. We're good. I appreciate the gesture, but we didn't need it. It's like when your grandma buys you socks for Christmas.
And we are back. You just saw a commercial for Niles Abston's very own show, Secret Black People Meeting. He's been crushing on that lately. It's been getting better every single week. You should go fucking check it out. All right, so we are now into our silver medal topics. We went backwards today. Usually we go bronze to gold, but today, because of the World Series, we went gold backwards. So now, silver medal topic. So, Russell, what's your silver medal topic today?
My silver medal, I can speak.
What's your ass?
Top for today, I audit education and down the drain.
Right. I ain't got one.
Top for today. NBA standout so far for 2 weeks. There have been, I know people have soured on the NBA because of the Cavs and the Warriors and everything's the same every year. People like that don't know basketball that well because there are some just really fun teams in the NBA right now.
Yeah.
Now, of course, you can say, well, in the end, it's going to be Cavs and Warriors, but until that time comes, there's a couple teams you should probably check out, especially because the Cavs and the Warriors haven't necessarily played that well, and to me, the Cavs issues seem to be a little bit more long-term than the Warriors, but we'll get to that later.
Right.
Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to be the MVP in the NBA this year. He's playing out of his mind. He's my favorite player in the NBA. Has been for a while. You can ask Niles since we were back in college.
Yep.
But
We talked about Giannis going for MVP on the last episode with Tom, too.
5 assists.
Improved, man.
It's always his shooting ability. And he's shooting 35% from free this year and 60% from field.
Yeah.
6-0.
Yeah.
That team is amazing. And it's not just Giannis. Chris Middleton, one of the best shooters in the NBA, had 44 points last night.
Yeah.
Giannis only had 16 or 17 points. So they can score in a lot of different ways. Tony Snell is a revelation after the Bulls traded him over there.
Right.
Has turned into a quality wing player for them, wing defender, shooter, 3-and-D guy. So, that's a really fun team, the Milwaukee Bucks, and they're going to cause a lot. So people have just out to me so far. Ben Simmons is a monster.
Yes.
Hasn't made one free yet, but
he doesn't need
is
to.
playing amazing. And no, he doesn't need to.
He just needs to
He's
stay
been playing
healthy.
really good basketball as the point guard, 6'11" point guard for the 76ers. Really nice pick-and-roll game with Joel Embiid. They're a fun team. Lauri Markkanen.
Yeah.
power forward, stretch forward.
He's playing.
This is the crazy thing to me. When the Bulls traded Jimmy Butler, Chicago was in flames. I'll tell you that right now. People, you can't trade Jimmy Butler. You got this bum kid. You're gonna probably draft. He's gonna be good. And then the draft comes. They draft Larry Markkinen. You got this European kid. He's probably gonna be terrible. All this stuff was like people hadn't seen him play. Was a really quality player at Arizona,
Yeah.
and he's terrible. He might be the Bulls' leading scorer.
He was great at Arizona.
After 17-9 right now.
Yeah.
He doesn't even really know how to play an NBA game yet. He just pick and pop, pick and roll, a little bit of face up, a little bit of back to the basket, and he's playing really good ball right now.
Yeah.
Other guys really quickly. Malik Monk is playing really good basketball. Kemba Walker.
He lit it up.
We'll talk about the elite lead guards in the NBA. We don't talk about Kemba Walker enough.
No.
You think Kemba, you got to have that same conversation. Kemba, Kyrie, Damian Lillard, Russ, those dominant point guards in the NBA, Kemba deserves to be in that conversation because any way you want a bucket, he can shoot the three off the dribble, he can drop the basket, get you a bucket that way. So yeah, Kemba's balling out right now. And that Hornets team, I don't know what it will take. I don't know if it'll take Kemba leaving or what, but he's a really good player right now.
Yeah, for sure. The NBA is crazy, just the level of talent in the league right now. I think the NBA is the most fun sports league to watch, just from top to bottom. I think almost, not every team, but almost every team has a guy on the floor that's just amazing, that is just a world-class player. And it's just, I get it, like like you said, the Warriors and the Cavs are just, they're stacked from top to bottom. You know, both teams have multiple former MVPs. And so it's just like those teams, they're gonna make it to the finals again. But like you said, if you really know basketball, you really like basketball, there's some really fun players to watch. Like, I love the way Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum have stepped up in Gordon Hayward being hurt. I mean, the Celtics are playing great, right now. They're really good. I think John Wall is playing MVP level basketball right now at the point guard position, from just on the defensive end, offensive end, everything. You took mine, Ben Simmons. Wow. Like, this dude, I knew he was good. I went and saw him play at LSU one game. I mean, he had a triple-double without even trying. And so I was just like, seeing him he didn't really, it was like when I saw him play at LSU, I was like, because he looked bored. But now it's like he's playing, I've never seen him play like competitive like this. And I mean, he's dropping dimes, dunking on whole front courts. I mean, he is playing with reckless abandon right now. Like, Ben Simmons is a beast. My Lakers, they're playing better than I thought they would. They played a really good game. Who was that the other week? Because Kuzma had 16 off the bench.
Shout out to Kuzma.
Yeah, Kuzma is playing really well.
Killing
Larry Nance is playing very well in the front court for the Lakers right now. So it's a lot of young players. I can't wait to see what they look like 4 or 5 years from now. Malik Monk scoring 25 points in 23 minutes off the bench. Like, we got some really good young talent that make the 82 games bearable to watch until we know, like, LeBron versus Steph, so.
Yeah, I think, honestly, this is the best place the NBA has ever been since the Michael Jordan era.
Yeah, for sure.
Top to bottom, the depth is really just phenomenal. I mean, even like these little teams like you mentioned, like Detroit and Charlotte and Milwaukee, they were considered like the lower middle class of the NBA.
The cellar of the NBA.
And they potentially could beat the Warriors in a game if the Warriors try. I'm not saying a game like a series, but in a night to night, the league is so competitive, so interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you said, every team really has someone who's dang good. Even the Bulls, who I thought were going to be tanking.
It's only a couple teams.
They got Lauri Markkinen.
They're still going to win like 5 games, but Lauri Markkinen will make it. I can at least turn on the game, see what Lauri Markkinen is doing, and then turn the game.
That's what I'm saying. Every team now has like a little bit of they have a player who represents hope for them. And that's really, I think it's really cool. I mean, just the other day, the Nets sold for $2.3 billion, and the guy didn't even get the stadium. I mean, Prokhorov still owns the stadium. I mean, the NBA has never been really at a better place since Jordan, and it's reflective in all the talent.
Yeah, I mean, it's so much money in the NBA right now. I wish I could buy a share in a team or something. This It's ridiculous. These TV contracts people are signing, cashing in, it's great. You got multiple teams that have 2-3 guys that are stars on some of our better teams, and then you have Giannis carrying a team by himself with some good role players. So it's just it's fun to watch. I love basketball. Is my favorite sport. I love the NBA. It's the most fun thing to watch, I think, right now. So
yeah, there's a lot of great. This is a great rookie class too. Maybe one of the deepest rookie classes you've ever seen.
Because nobody's even talking about how Kawhi Leonard's hurt right now. He's not even playing. He's not even playing. That's how fun. That's how exciting the league is when probably the third or fourth best player isn't even available to play right now.
Yeah, it's just a smorgasbord of talent. Is there anyone in particular to you guys that really stands out? Do you think Giannis is the star of this first couple weeks?
Yeah.
For me, Giannis, but DeMarcus Cousins has been playing amazing basketball.
Right?
And people don't usually like to talk about DeMarcus Cousins because, he got a bad attitude, he's a coach killer, blah, 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 blah. DeMarcus Cousins is the most talented big man there's been since Shaquille O'Neal.
Exactly.
You could say Joel Embiid might, if he can stay healthy, could approach that territory.
Yeah.
But for me, DeMarcus Cousins is playing amazing. Putting up 30 and 15 like it's nothing. And if you look into it, DeMarcus Cousins is averaging more assists this season than Kyrie Irving and averaging more threes made this year than Kevin Durant. So he's falling out right now.
He had against the Sacramento? He had 43 and 20 or something like that?
He's been.
That's 2K numbers, bro. With the sliders on. That's.
Him and Anthony Davis have finally figured out how to coalesce.
I don't think so.
I mean, I still think in terms of
it's not gonna work. I love the two players, but it ain't gonna work.
Well, I mean, in terms of they figure out the spacing for the scoring.
What you say? What did you say?
And about 6. So they're getting theirs. It's just everybody else.
You say everybody else what?
I said they're getting theirs. Coexist with them.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the reason.
And that's what I'm saying. The team around them is trash. The team around them is trash. To have two big guys like that operating high-low, you have to have a gang of shooters around them, and that's why I always liken it to the Orlando team that made it to the finals in 2009, and people didn't think they would do that. Well, they were built to beat teams. They had a dominant big man that just stood in the middle, and they had 4 guys that could shoot the lights out.
And Hito was the other tall guy.
You had a 6'10" guy that can run pick and roll. So it's just you have those 2 pillars, but it's nobody else around them can really create their own shot, make an open 3, or make a big play to get those turning moments. Because
which makes that Buddy Hield trade so mystifying.
Yeah. They still have
bring these guys in because you have to trade Cousins and no shooters.
Right. If you still had Buddy Hield, this team would be probably I think definitely a for sure playoff lock. You had Buddy Hield.
Yeah, it's a shame, but I actually do think Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins.
So y'all don't think Cousins is gonna get traded by the trade deadline?
I'm sure they will because it's New Orleans and they're pretty incompetent, as you can see by the lineup around Davis and Cousins. But I do like the two together. I just feel like you said, the cast around them doesn't work. But I feel like those two have figured it out. It's just the rest of them they aren't good enough. But I do like the contributions those two put together.
So if you're the Pelicans GM, do you just hold on and hope Cousins signs with you at the end of the season, or do you trade him and try to get some pieces?
If I'm the Pelicans GM, I hire a smarter GM, first of all, because he doesn't know what he's doing.
Damn.
In reality, he's been the cause of this issue, because I like Buddy Hield, he's a project a little bit, but I would have liked him for this team, and so it was just
but you go get Cousins if you...
it's just, I don't know.
Here's my thing. I don't have a problem with them going to get Cousins, but you have to get out of the small market mindset of, we have Cousins, but we can't spend money to go get people to add to Cousins and Davis. Because after a while, Anthony Davis is going to get wise and say, you know what, I might go back home to Chicago, because in 4 years, the Bulls team might be able to do something and get pieces, or he might go out west. There's a lot of possibilities for Anthony Davis outside of New Orleans, and he's doing them a service by signing that contract a couple years ago.
Right.
So they have, I think, 3-4 years to do something because he's going to leave. And if he leaves, Cousins is definitely going.
Yeah, well, Cousins' contract is up after this year is over, so.
Yeah.
So,
I don't think Cousins signing a long term, maybe a 2-year
maybe
deal.
with a player
might
option.
be it.
Maybe a 2 with a player option. I can see it.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of teams contenders trying to trade for him at the trade deadline, like your Milwaukee's and Washingtons that are like one player away from beating the Cavs.
Milwaukee would be at.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
that's the way to wrap it up there. If you met Giannis and Cousins, the two standouts the first 2 weeks.
because I
If
feel
they
like
could
Milwaukee,
play together, that would be a
Milwaukee
super
has
team.
some
That's
good young
super
pieces.
team.
Milwaukee's has some good young pieces and picks they could trade for them. Cleveland has a couple pieces and a pick they could, because Cleveland has that Brooklyn pick. So I was just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's some Eastern contenders I think that'll trade for Cousins and put up some good packages at the trade deadline.
Last thing before we get off the NBA topic, I want to talk about the Cavs real quick and those issues we were talking about because one of the issues that they have, of course, Tristan Thompson is going to be out for a month, which affects their defensive abilities. And LeBron, I think Niles talk about this all the time, on the air and off the air. LeBron can't play all 5 positions.
No! Stop making him do it!
Defensively, they're an awful team.
Yeah.
Because I don't think people are like, oh, Dwayne Wade gonna go to the Cavs, he's gonna be revitalized after being on the Bulls. I'm gonna tell you what, after watching a lot of Bulls basketball, Dwayne Wade is done on defense. Like that's not what you got him for.
Yeah.
And this year, he's even worse on defense.
Yeah.
It's not just he's not trying, it's he can't.
Yeah.
So people are going by him. People who are slower going by Dwayne Wade, and he doesn't want to get back on defense. That team is terrible. So you have a backcourt of Derrick Rose and Dwayne Wade, and then LeBron has to guard not only the 3, but the 4-5 and the 1 and 2. You can't win games like that.
Yeah.
Like last night, LeBron had 33, 13, and 7, and they lost by 17 points.
To the Pacers.
Well, we were talking about it earlier. It's just what you said. They can't play defense, and the whole point of like having a cast around LeBron is like you're supposed to reduce the amount of work he has to do throughout the season to get to the finals.
And not playing defense is not.
And the issue is they signed a lot of guys who have redundant skills with LeBron, do what he does, and then don't do the things he needs to do. Like Jay Crowder is really one of the few guys on the Cavs who's fit in well because he does things that work with LeBron's skills as opposed to like your Derrick Roses, your Dwayne Wades, who are just offensive pieces. But in the end, if J.R. Smith, Kyle Korver, and all the other shooters, they aren't hitting shots, they're all turnstiles. And so now LeBron James is just running around frantically like a chicken with his head cut off. And it's like the whole point was to...
They're forced to put Jay Crowder on the bench because that bench unit is so bad on defense, they could be out of the game when LeBron comes out.
Exactly.
And that was the whole point. They were supposed to bolster the bench and make it so that when LeBron went off, that at least they'd be deep. They'd have a second unit, and the second unit is even more in shambles than it was before. Yeah. So Dan Gilbert, great job. Keep writing those racist letters.
They got a lot to figure out. Isaiah Thomas coming back in December isn't gonna fix everything. So
no, if that doesn't help the defense, they probably get worse.
Yeah, someone under 6 feet. That's what we need for defense. You know,
because they scoring. It's just
it's gonna be one of the best NBA seasons, I think.
It'll be interesting. That top 4 or 5 in the East is gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be interesting.
I think the Bucks win 50+ games, and they be vying for that 2 or 1.
Same with Washington. Washington is gonna be scary too, because Washington plays deep. That's the thing. Washington will lock you up. So
I'm sorry, but I don't think the Raptors that good.
No,
they never have.
They're not. I've never bought into Toronto. I think DeMar DeRozan's overrated. I think he's a good player, but I don't think he's a star. And Kyle Lowry.
It's gay. Like, I really don't know how it works. Like, he's a 1990s type of superstar or early 2000s type of superstar where I can go to the basket and get buckets and score 28. But when your team is built to you to score 30 a game and you can't score threes to get yourself back in the game, it's hard. I can't lean on Kyle Lowry.
No, Kyle Lowry has had 2 bad playoff runs in a row.
I'm still coming back.
I think he shot like Didn't Kyle Lowry shoot like under 20% from 3 last playoffs or something like that? Like they're not a playoff team. Keep partying with Drake on the sidelines. Keep doing that.
All right, does that wrap it up for the NBA?
Yeah.
All right. We just did we've never delved that deep into any topic before.
The NBA is just so deep, man.
Yeah, no, that was great. So we're gonna be right back after this commercial. It's gonna be Arthur's show, Blunts and Brunch. You gotta check it out. It's fucking fire. We'll be right back.
No! When he whips it out, but you weren't ready. Oh shit! So you be getting them mysterious dick pics, huh?
Listen, it was
getting them unsolicited bratwursts in your DMs.
Oh my gosh, one can only wish. Are you kidding me? Nobody sends me anything. I even have a fucking joke about it. They still don't send it to me. The only people that fucking send it live in like Pakistan or like fucking Turkmenistan. Like, I can't do shit with that. You know what I mean?
Dropping missiles in your DM.
Shout out to Pakistan!
All right, and we're back. So you just saw a commercial for Blunts and Brunch with Arthur Hamilton. It's one of the best shows on Channel 310. You gotta check it out. It's so fucking funny.
It's great.
Anyways, we are back. We just did a huge NBA wrap-up. So, Niles, what's your silver medal podium topic today?
Man, this was breaking news that happened today. Deshaun Watson, quarterback of the Texans, tore his ACL at practice during a drill, and he's out for the season. He's done.
My new favorite player of this season.
Yeah.
My favorite rookie.
He's my favorite one to watch, man. He, like Russ was saying, 19 touchdowns in 7 weeks. He was one of the first players at multiple, 4 touchdown games in a row like he did. I mean, he was playing MVP level football for a team that hasn't had an MVP level player in ever. You know,
he turned around the Houston Texans in a year where the J.J. Watt and Whitney Merciless are both injured on the defense. He is not really. He doesn't even have the stout defense they thought he had. He was learning on the job, like kind of. You remind me of like a young Tom Brady. Like this kid makes good decisions, or like a Russell Wilson, just an incredible decision maker, winner, really productive, efficient. Protects himself, which is ironic that he's so good at protecting himself in the game. And then you said it was in a practice.
In a practice drill.
Did you know any more details on what?
I didn't really give him too many details on the report I was reading, but he got hurt in a practice drill, tore his ACL. They said he didn't even yell. They said he just knew what it was, and they carried him off the field. Like that, I mean, just little freak accident stuff like that. You hate that for a guy like Deshaun. He's such a cool guy too. Like, I mean, donating his first couple checks to Houston, the hurricane victims, and to food shelters. Like, I mean, he was doing such great stuff. And then even like the reason he gives back is because I don't know if you know his story, but he was a kid. Warwick Dunn, who was running back of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, gave his family a house.
Wow.
Because they were like poor and homeless. And
that's so cool.
And so like he didn't think one day this kid's gonna be a NFL superstar, but he just paid it forward.
I literally remember that Warwick Dunn house program. That's so cool.
Then a kid that got a house from Warwick Dunn became an NFL superstar and did the same things, paid it forward too. So you hate to see that for a guy that's such a humble, great guy, and he's playing really good. And then a city like Houston. Well, Houston, you just got a World Series. I don't feel bad for you, all right? But like, that sucks that you get hurt, and they were turning it around. DeAndre Hopkins finally had somebody that could actually throw him the ball right. You know what I'm saying? Because like, remember the Texans made the playoffs last year. You remember how bad that playoff game was?
Yeah.
Who was the quarterback?
Well, the defense actually played really well against Tom Brady, but the offense couldn't do anything. It was Tom Savage or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like the Texans made the playoffs last year without scoring touchdowns. Think of what they were going to do in the AFC South this year with the Andrew Luck that's banged up and a Jaguars team I don't think that's like completely, put together because they had Blake Bortles. So
well, I love that you wrapped up the personal life perspective on him. Russell, could you give us like the historical perspective on like what he was doing his rookie season and like how rare this was for a rookie quarterback to really step in like that, considering there are rookie quarterbacks like Peyton Manning who had terrible rookie seasons.
He went 2-14.
Like, can you like really put in perspective how good his rookie season was for us?
I don't know. I don't think people really understand. Rookie quarterbacks are not supposed to succeed.
No.
And usually don't get, when you get drafted as high as the guys like Mitchell Trubisky and Deshaun Watson and Deshaun Kaiser, unfortunately, get drafted, those teams usually suck, and they suck for a reason.
Yeah, it's for the
but
future.
If you look at Deshaun Watson, he's kind of helped elevate that team. He had 19 touchdowns in his first 7 NFL games, which is the most of any player in the history of the NFL.
All right.
That means Brady, that Rodgers, that means Matt Ryan, like that's everybody.
We're the same age.
So like the things that Dak Prescott has done like in 2017 or 2016, and the things that Deshaun Watson did this year in 2017, that those things don't happen.
Exactly.
Like ever.
And Deshaun's doing it with a worse team than Dak did with the Cowboys.
Oh yeah.
Deshaun Watson doesn't have an all-star running back like Ezekiel Elliott, who has had an amazing last 3 weeks.
I mean, he has solid pieces, but they clearly were helped by the fact that Deshaun was there, as opposed to with Dak Prescott. You already saw the talents.
And I'm not saying Dak's not good at all. I watched him play Mississippi State for years, but Dak was able to walk into a system with a great offensive line and Ezekiel Elliott coming in fresh and a Des Bryant. Whereas Deshaun Watson, DeAndre Hopkins is a great target, but the Texans' offensive line isn't nowhere near as the Dallas Cowboy offensive line, who multiple All-Pros. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it just shows you how great this dude was. 22 years old. I'm the same age as this guy. You know what I'm saying? Like this, watching Deshaun Watson was amazing. Yeah, what he's doing is unprecedented and probably won't happen again for a long time unless some other freak of nature becomes a rookie quarterback. So, Texans' season's pretty much over. I think we can mail that in.
Yeah, so, it's a shame.
Because didn't you say like you can't even bet on them right now or something?
Yeah,
like that?
Here's the real this is a big moment for Deshaun Watson because Vegas wouldn't even let you bet on this game because they consider Deshaun Watson that important. So we can't even set a line without Deshaun Watson.
Yeah,
so
it's too easy. Because who do they play this week?
The Colts.
Oh.
So it's
honestly,
they'll probably still win, but it's this team's trajectory. We were looking at them maybe being that wild card team or even that AFC South division winner. Where you're just wow, they get in, they kind of they're a little frisky and they might win a game or two with that rookie quarterback. And now,
sucks.
Yeah, it's not that they kind of remind me of the Steelers with Ben Roethlisberger, where they had that nice frisky vibe, that rookie quarterback. They were doing something, and it's just this is
They're
really,
in a really bad division too.
Yeah, it's really heartbreaking.
They're in a bad division. Honestly, some of the trick or treaters I saw running across the street probably could beat the Colts. I saw some speed. I saw some speed in them the other night. So the Colts are trash.
Yeah.
So this was the Texans' year to really take that division and put a chokehold on that division.
That whole division every single year is always up for grabs, and no one really takes it. It's always people.
Well, they're always all 4 teams are usually pretty bad.
Yeah, it's who screws up the least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a real shame. Should we move on to my silver medal?
Yeah.
Deshaun. This was the biggest story of the week until the World Series happened. In terms of the sports world, Bob Mcnair.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson is so good. We forgot they were owned by a racist.
Houston Texans owner, notorious, Cro-Magnon troglodyte, kind of people knew him as kind of a backwards thinker anyways. And so as far as all the owners who would have said this, I think he was going to be first polled anyways. So that is unfortunate that you have someone like that who's running an NFL team. But Bob McNair basically said at a players meeting with Colin kind of in relation to the Colin Kaepernick thing and the protest.
Wasn't no kind of.
Yeah, well, it is. So he said that we can't let the inmates run the prison.
Yeah.
And we talked about it on Secret Black People meeting.
Go watch if you haven't.
It's actually really damn good shit. But let's first start with you and Russell, since we've already talked about it on Secret Black People meeting. What did you think of the Bob McNair situation?
All right, so I'm not going to even give it that much energy. Deserve that much energy, but I'll say this: awful analogy. At all that an owner thinks that way of the players because, you know, to him, I mean, he is the warden, and the players and the people, not even just the players, the people who are employees are the prisoners.
Right.
That's the way it works.
Yeah.
Like when you have a whole lot of money and a whole lot of people who work for you, that's the way you think.
Right.
And I'm not saying every billionaire out there thinks that way,
Exactly.
but maybe the other 29 who own NFL teams do.
Right.
We talk about it I think we have mentioned this at least once a show. Maya Angelou, when somebody shows you who they really are,
Tell 'em, Russ.
believe them.
Believe them.
So it's not just a mistake. It's not just, oh, well, it might have been this time. This is how these owners think.
Yeah.
And people should have, we knew back when the whole Colin Kaepernick thing started.
Exactly.
We knew this how thought because nobody would give, people would rather give Brandon Whedon a job than Colin Kaepernick.
Yep.
Makes no sense. Even today, the Texans
Just signed.
read option system and not Colin Kaepernick.
They signed Case Keenum, didn't they?
To me, people think, oh, why you guys keep, I'm tired of talking about this. To be honest. Not just because, like, I just think from a football perspective, this is stupid. You should just sign him and be better at football.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know who's tired of talking about it?
I want to talk about what the best teams in the NFL are. I want to talk about what the best NBA players so far through 2-3 weeks are. But I can't because stupidity keeps raining down in the real world and in the sports world.
Right.
So it's one of the things you have to do. But yeah, Bob Mcnair is just another. And to me, I'd rather know this is how you those people use because don't hide.
Right.
I want you same energy all the time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, he's got the Dan Gilbert mentality. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I own you. You know what I'm saying? And like Shannon Sharp put it the best on FS1 when he said, like, if this is what you say in public, then there's no telling what you're saying about me in private. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the thing. When Donald Sterling got caught saying his racist stuff, it was because a girl, I think it was even illegally, recorded him. You know, he had no idea anybody was listening. Mm-hmm. Bob Mcnair had the attention of everybody in the room when he said this.
Yeah,
so that means he believes in this. He knows this to be true, and there's no point in apologizing. Why? You made a public. When does somebody apologize for making a public statement? That's how you feel. Yeah. That's how you feel. That's what you think about these people, and that's what you think you are. So, I mean, I think the apology was hogwash because that was a public statement in a meeting that was supposed to be professional, and you say something like that because that's the way these guys. That's the way these guys think. And so there's a lot of people saying, "Oh, it's just a figure of speech," and no, because the thing is with what's going on in the NFL right now, we knew who he was talking about, and we knew what he was talking about. We knew what he meant by it. And so it's just for how long are we gonna let the league be owned by people like this who basically can say these things, act on these things? I mean, and the thing is, like you said last week, we were talking, his actions preceded all this. Yeah. I mean, donating $4.5 million to Donald Trump. It's just like he didn't even have to say this for me to know what he thought. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and like what you said when they say it's just a figure of speech. Well, actually, he modified the original figure of speech.
Yes.
It's the inmates run the asylum.
Right.
And when you say inmates running the prison, I think it's ironic that Colin Kaepernick, at the very start of this whole thing, why was he kneeling? He was kneeling in response to the inequality in the justice system and then the police brutality that occurs because of that.
Right.
And so basically, you know, Colin's doing that, and like you said, Bob Mcnair donated $4.5 million to Trump and $1.5 million to Mitch McConnell, who are the two politicians that propagate the privatized prison phenomenon that is probably the biggest contributor to what Colin Kaepernick is protesting.
Exactly.
So, in the end, your very innocent statement actually proved everything Colin knelt for in like one very ironically, you know, concise way. You just didn't even know you did it.
Yeah.
But it's just like, you know, what you say about these people running it, they're gonna always run it until the other owners vote them out, and that's a tough thing when there's there's 32 NFL teams, one of them is owned publicly, the Green Bay Packers, so there's essentially 31 owners, and that you have to have a large consensus in that group to do anything. And when do old white men like to change drastically?
No.
It's there. And
it's just like, why am I gonna vote you out if I think the same thing? I'm just not the one that was dumb enough to say it out loud. You telling me it's not at least 20 owners out there that probably have said this or something worse?
Yeah, Jerry Jones had a private call with the owners to try to talk about Roger Goodell because he wants to get Roger Goodell, and he only had 17 of the owners, and you still need 24 to vote for you out of the 31 to get Roger Goodell out, for instance. Yeah. And so it's like they have trouble, coming to agreements on something pretty obvious, like Roger Goodell is not a very good commissioner. We shouldn't have given him an extension. Right. So it's going to be really hard for stuff like, hey, we're going to vote one of us off the island. It's not really going to happen. You have to have a Donald Sterling equivalent moment in the NFL.
That barely happened.
And to be honest, to me, this was kind of this was just as bad in certain ways because you're talking about systematic stuff. There are so many black men in jail who are just in jail under suspicion of being black, essentially, and so it's just to talk about it that way. It's really insensitive, and he has no empathy, and I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, and what you were saying is great. They created a system in the NFL where the owners will always be protected. You create a system where 32 old rich guys, it takes how many out of the 32 to vote somebody out?
24.
24. That ain't never gonna happen.
It's 24 because you have to have over a 3/4 majority.
That ain't never gonna happen. Yeah. A lot of these guys invest money together. You think these guys hate each other because they own different teams? They could care less about that kind of stuff. They're about making money. They're about keeping these teams in the black. They won the Super Bowl. Right. The team won the Super Bowl. Cool. I made $1 billion. That's what's the point.
And you guys bring up a really good point. What happens to the players if they don't do well? They get fired. What happens if the players talk out? They get traded. Like Dwayne Brown, he spoke out against Bob McNair, and now he plays for the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah, it actually worked out pretty good for him, but still, he now plays for the Seattle Seahawks. He got traded because of his statements. Yeah, and I think the whole Houston Texans would want to trade your ass, Bob McNair. And they can't do any of that. Right. DeAndre Hopkins took a personal day. First of all, when you're the owner and you're making your own team take personal days, almost walk out, you're hurting your team. Right. It's like, and when players hurt their team, they get cut. Right. They get traded. Right. But when an owner does it, it doesn't matter. And I think it's just obnoxious.
Yeah, it's crazy how a league that's so entertaining that we watch week to week is owned by guys who donate and endorse people that make money off black people being unfairly in prison, but then they have a league that's 70% black and brown. That's crazy to me. Yeah. And it's allowed to happen because the rich are always protected, and they've created this system where their asses are always, good.
Let's wrap it up with this. There's a rooting rule for coaches. Should there be a rooting rule for owners?
I mean, how would that happen? That's the
I don't know how you enforce. I don't know how that would be.
I guess the way it would be the next time multiple bidders come up for a new stadium or for a new ownership, you'd have to have one minority person bid for it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
Or an ownership group that has a minority.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I know it would lead to tokenism and a lot of this stuff, but in the end, the Rooney Rule has proven to be effective. There have been more black coaches since
the Rooney Rule is great because it's not so much a business decision. It's we're hiring people based on skill and these kind of things. And black coaches have proved to do just as well as white coaches. Whereas owning a team is such a business thing, and the way the wealth gap works in America, white people own 90% of the wealth. How many people can we really put together to own these teams that are people of color? Where, like you said, it won't be just a thing where it's six rich white guys. All right, let's throw Niles in there too to make it look okay. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to get caught up in that either. So it's I don't know what to do about the NFL.
I do think at some point, you look at what's going on in Hollywood right now, and there's a need for diversity in a lot of these places, and it's just a bunch of old white guys, and you could use you could use a mix in there. I think that's really what it comes down to. Is
they have no problem with diversity on the field. So
yeah, it's a and when it's a meritocracy on the field, black people do pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So why can't it be a meritocracy in other areas?
I don't know.
But that was the end of the silver medal podium topics. We'll be right with the last commercial break. We talked about my roast a little bit. Here's a commercial for one of my roasts. We'll be right back.
Hey, that's what it look like this nigga been doing all day in them raggedy ass pants singing to me.
Shit. Hey, you know what David just did there? He broke the fourth wall. But usually when he does that, he goes, "Oh yeah!"
And we're back. You just saw a commercial for one of my roast battles. Check it out on Channel 310. All right, so let's get into the picks. We always do the NFL picks. We're into week 8, I believe. This is
halfway through.
We're halfway through the season. It's the second quarter. This is pretty much done after this week. So one of the most interesting games I thought this week is Falcons at the Panthers. Carolina is giving up a point.
Okay.
They're getting a point, actually. Okay. So Carolina's +1, and Falcons are at the Panthers. It's kind of a tight matchup. I believe this started at Carolina getting 2, and now it's dropped down to 1, which means I think the betting public is favoring Atlanta.
Right.
What are you guys thinking?
Oh, man, it's a tough NFC South rivalry game right there. And the NFC South has just been crazy this year. Like, my Saints are number 1 in the division right now. How'd that happen? I don't even understand how that happened.
It's one of those things everyone's trying to figure stuff out. I don't understand what the Carolina Panthers are doing. They just traded Kelvin Benjamin as their top receiver.
I didn't like that one.
It's just bizarre. They're bizarre and they should be better.
Yeah, I got Falcons going into Carolina by 3 though. That's what I got. I think Atlanta.
Same.
I think Atlanta gets them by a field goal. I think it'll be a close game. Not a lot of scoring. I think both offenses will struggle.
Yeah, it's tough. You really, in a game like this, if Vegas is only giving you 1 point either way, it seems pretty obvious. But you just want to pick who you think's going to win. I just think Falcons on the road. I don't think they're going to get it done. I'm going to take the Panthers, but the problem with Cam Newton, you don't want to bet on him necessarily because he could be great one week, terrible the next week. You really don't know.
Yeah. But
I really do think this is an up week for him since he's at home. But I think he's going to give a football to a kid, like he always does when he gets a touchdown. That's the next game. We're going to have Kansas at Dallas. Dallas is -1, so Kansas City is favored by a point, and they're on the road. So essentially, because of the 3 points you get for being at home, Vegas is saying Kansas City is 4 points better than Dallas, but because they're on the road, they're only going to give 1. This is a tough matchup. Russell, what do you think about this matchup? First off,
I think this is Kansas City by 10. The loss of Ezekiel Elliott is going to be huge for them. And that's one of the things I'll get into maybe next week. But I think if he had taken that suspension when the season started, they wouldn't even have to worry about it now. Now they won't get him back to the end of December, and they may be out of play contention by then.
We did talk about it on a previous episode of the Podium, by the way. We talked about that, how he should have just taken the suspension at the beginning of the year. And then week 6, he would have been. It's week 8. He would have been 2 games into his thing, but now because he waited, now he's going to be into the playoffs probably not playing, and it's just so foolish.
They ain't going to the playoffs, so ain't nothing.
I'm taking Kansas City by at least 10.
Okay. I wouldn't go 10 with it, but I'd definitely take Kansas City by a touchdown. I think people kind of went down on KC when they lost, but I feel like they just had a bad week. I still think they're one of the best teams in the NFL. They just had a bad week. So I think they'll get the Cowboys.
For my Jew ass, when I always look at this, I always look at value, and I don't think Vegas properly valued Dallas in this because of taking out Ezekiel Elliott. I would take Kansas all day on this one.
Yeah.
I think we're pretty much in consensus on that one.
Yeah.
A pretty interesting game, even though both teams aren't really in contention. The Rams are at the Giants, and the Giants are -4, so they're you can get 4 points if you bet the Giants. But I would take even if you have to give up 4 points, I would take the Rams, but it's
at New York.
It's at New York, which traditionally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and traditionally I don't like New York at home because their fans kind of get on them.
I don't like New York at all.
Yeah, I mean, but just traditionally, New York at home has never really been a good play because even when they were good, the fans are kind of assholes. They'll just like they kind of get on Eli.
Yeah.
They really do. They get in his head and shit. And he's always played better on the road. When they won those championships, they were the road warrior teams. They were not a great home team. So for me, picking the Giants at home is kind of usually a mistake. I'm gonna take the Rams, but it's like, man, how quickly has the season turned? Where at the beginning of the season, did you think you'd be taking Jared Goff over Eli Manning? Did you really think that?
No.
You know, and so it's crazy how the NFL season works. Because I think we're all in consensus that we're gonna take the Rams, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rams all the way. They're having a really good season. Todd Gurley's been an MVP candidate. And with the fall, or not the fall, but the slow couple weeks for Kareem Hunt might have creeped his way back into that MVP contention, especially with Deshaun Watson getting hurt today.
Right.
He might be the front runner for the MVP. Yeah, I don't know.
And it's not that
this quarter.
It's not that the Giants are just so bad. It's just, I mean, all the injuries and there's Odell Beckham, Sterling Shepard's had his injuries this year. Like that receiving core is taking a lot of hits. And Eli has not had a good season. Yes, I'll go with LA.
Yeah.
By a touchdown, at least.
Yeah, I think we're all pretty much in consensus on this one. And just like I said, I cannot believe that I'm taking Jared Goff, but I am, and pretty confidently. So the next game is a rematch of one of my favorite playoff matchups ever when RG3 went up against Russell Wilson. Washington is at Seattle. Seattle is giving up 7.5 points. So you have to win by more than a touchdown if you're gonna bet Seattle. What do you guys think about this one?
I think Seattle can win by more than a touchdown.
The Washington. I really don't know what they have. They have no running game. Their receivers can't get open, and Kirk Cousins is okay.
Yeah. Okay. And it's at Seattle?
Yeah, it's at Seattle. And Vegas always gives 3 for being at home, but Seattle you should give like 4 or 5 points. That crowd always gives a little extra.
Right, 12 man.
And normally when you see 7.5 points, that's such a great value, but if you look at Washington, their whole offensive line is banged up. And the last couple weeks, they just cannot operate on offense. Their whole foundation is kind of crumbling. I would stay away from Washington for a little while until they kind of prove that they figured stuff out on the offensive line.
And got a less racist mascot. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that would help. That would help. Get a new owner.
Yeah.
Anyone named Dan Snyder, Danny Schneider, like they're all kind of pieces of shit. It's like that name has just been like really bad lately.
That name getting dragged.
Yeah.
But yeah, I go Seahawks at home by at least 10.
Wow, we're all in agreement here.
Yeah, I don't think those picks were too hard.
Yeah. All right. Last one, the Monday night game. I just think it's really interesting. How do we think Detroit at Green Bay? How does Green Bay do without Aaron Rodgers? Green Bay is getting 3. They're getting 3 points even at home. What do you guys think?
I don't know. I think Detroit wins that game by 7. I don't believe in Brett Hundley. I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago after Rodgers got hurt. I think Detroit is the Vikings division to lose at this point.
Right.
And I don't know how long they're going to be in that game. I'm taking in Detroit by 7.
Yeah. Like I said a couple weeks ago, Aaron Rodgers not being in and injuries to a lot of the other NFC North teams. This is Matthew Stafford's time to shine and do his thing. So if he's the quarterback that he says he is, he needs to go to Green Bay get this win in Lambeau. And so I believe he can do it. They're playing a banged up Packers, so I take Detroit by a touchdown.
My dad's a lifelong Detroit Lions fan, and I have.
Is he depressed?
That's actually a quick note. That's how I learned how to swear. Was listening to my dad Detroit Lions games. At 2, I was fluent.
That's hilarious.
And you watch his team. They have a torrid history. They're kind of cursed.
Kind of.
I'll talk about the curse.
Shout out to my man Solomon.
I'll actually another episode. I'll talk about the curse of Detroit specifically because it's fascinating. But they're one of those teams that they're in games they shouldn't, and then they lose games they shouldn't.
Yeah.
And I just have a feeling Green Bay getting 3. They're at Lambeau, which is a place they traditionally perform terribly at. I don't know. I could just see them only winning by 3 or even like fumbling the game, and I would actually take Green Bay here because I don't know.
Would I be surprised if the Lions blow it? No.
I might with the Lions for me. You always take them when they're an underdog. You never take them when they're favored because I just don't trust them. Mm-hmm. Traditionally, and I can hear my dad swearing from another city. Probably watching those Lions, and it's going to be bad. They're a frustrating team. They're a really frustrating team. I wouldn't bet them. All right, so that was the picks, guys. That was pretty good. Shit. Cool. All right, so we are now down to our bronze medal podium topics. We went backwards today because of the World Series. So usually we go bronze, silver, gold. But now we're going gold, silver, bronze. So Russell, what's your bronze medal podium topic?
Real quick, on my bronze medal topic, the NFL trade deadline that was similar to the MLB trade deadline. Mm-hmm. A lot of moves going down. You talked about one earlier, Kelvin Benjamin getting traded. This was a move that wasn't as surprising to me as it was to a lot of other people. If you looked at the Panthers' offense, with the emergence of Devin Funchess, Kelvin Benjamin hadn't played as well.
Yeah.
His role had kind of diminished. And honestly, that's just the way offenses go sometimes. If you look at Pittsburgh, something similar is going on there. Martavis Bryant's role has increased with the rise of Juju Smith-Schuster. So, I think it might be a better fit for Kelvin Benjamin in the long run. Hadn't really been able to show what he could do after his rookie season and after turning that CL. Hadn't really been able to put it all together. Yeah. So maybe go to Buffalo and do it there with Tyrod Taylor. Then you have Jay Ajayi. This might have been the biggest move. Getting traded from your Miami Dolphins, Eric, to the Philadelphia Eagles.
It's a fire sale.
Honestly, it makes... I don't really understand it for only a 4th round pick, but you can see, the Eagles are one of those teams that could be vying for an NFC championship. And they just added a really good running back to their backfield to go along with Marshawn Lynch and Carson Wentz. So that's a really good move for them going forward. And then 2 more. The third trade, and we'll get to the trade that didn't happen. Jimmy Garoppolo going from the New England Patriots to be a good move for them going forward. This is the last year of Garoppolo's deal. You can see them signing him to an extension here at the end of the season. And then the Cleveland Browns were, for whatever reason, decided that Deshaun Kaiser, after 7 weeks, was not their quarterback of the future. That's my point. And decided they were going to put all their hope in A.J. McCarron to be the savior for them. Had a trade in place for A.J. McCarron, and were high-fiving, excited about how they got this great quarterback in A.J. McCarron and didn't CC the pass, and they didn't get anybody. What do you expect from the Browns?
Classic Browns. Can't even file papers.
The Browns making a bad decision. What?
Yeah, but in the end, with the Browns, it's just a big pile of who gives a shit because they're not going to win anything. That's why they're the Browns, honestly.
Right.
Like they're just throwing away talent, and Deshaun Kaiser, like you said, instead of maybe providing some stability and foundation for a young asset that you have, let's just, make him always look over his shoulder, get nervous, get skittish during games, perform worse, and it's just a terrible system. I thought an underrated move, Jimmy Garoppolo going to the 49ers. Kyle Shanahan is desperate for just someone there. I feel like he could be on the level of a Sean McVay if he had pieces.
Yeah.
He has no pieces, whereas Sean McVay came into a team with a lot of good talent at the Rams. And I think the 49ers, Garoppolo is like really that first foundational piece. I don't think he's nearly as much as what the Patriots made him out to be, but compared to Beathard or whoever they had going, he is definitely an upgrade.
Right.
He's at least competent.
Right.
And even if he is just Matt Castle, that's a huge upgrade for the 49ers. And I actually, I like their team to not lose by like 30 at least for the next couple weeks. For those of you at the Patriots, freaking out, if you get one of the two worst teams' second-round picks, that's essentially a late first. It's pretty high value, actually. Those first couple picks in the second round are very valuable. And so Bill Belichick just collecting assets as usual. What did you think was one of the biggest moves of the week, Niles?
I was gonna say Jimmy Garoppolo for sure. I didn't see it coming, to be honest, but I guess I don't think they really had use for him, because it's like I feel like the Patriots mindset was like, let's win now with Brady.
And it's not like he's gonna be the guy who wins 5 championships after Brady. He's not even. You don't know if he's gonna win a championship. Like, I really think they fleeced the 49ers by getting a second round.
Yeah, so I think it was a great move by New England, but I definitely didn't see it coming. So that was definitely the biggest move to me.
And then I talked about it a little bit in the picks, but I'm a little dumbfounded by the Kelvin Benjamin trade.
Yeah.
I feel like Cam Newton is one of those guys like Allen Iverson, where it's like, what would his career have been like if he had help?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of annoying because he is such a unique talent,
right?
And yet it's not being utilized. The system is ridiculous. You're overdrafting Christian McCaffrey when you need other pieces.
I never got that draft pick.
And it's not on Christian McCaffrey. He's doing his best, but
he didn't draft himself.
You overdrafted someone who could have been more like in the teens to the 20s,
right.
and now you have even less assets going forward for the team that like really needed stuff. So it's a weird. Russell, for you, was Jimmy Garoppolo the biggest trade?
No, I'd still say Jay Ajayi because he's probably the biggest name.
Yeah,
and it was basically for nothing. A 4th-round pick is nothing.
Yeah, I didn't really get that one.
I guess really quick, I'll talk about this as a Dolphins fan. The Dolphins organization right now, I feel like, is in a power struggle. Like they want the ownership and the GM, I feel like, are kind of at odds in a way, because they had some weird quotes after they traded Jay Ajayi about how they felt like his best carries were behind him and that he wasn't performing for us. And then the stats on the field show that he was doing good.
Right,
and it's for a team that had given up essentially, and he's still one of the few ones performing. So I feel like they just tried to sandbag him on the way out, a la like what all the Boston teams do with like Terry Francona and all the other people.
Well, you make yourself look good,
Yeah, it's just it's super classless, and this is something that my team does. I'll talk about this later, but Sue was just choking Ryan Mallett out, and we're a foolish organization. We drafted a dude with a bong mask. I mean, we have cocaine in the building. I mean, we're a goddamn mess. We have bullies. I mean, we have all the extracurricular activity stories and none of the football stories. It's just a shame in the past 5 years. So.
Yeah, y'all are Michael Irvin Cowboys without the talent.
Yeah, it's a pain. It's painful time as a Dolphins fan. But I do think, like Russell said, Jay Ajayi, unlike what the Dolphins said, and that's part of why they're not a good team right now, because they can't fucking scout.
Good for him getting out of that toxic organization.
Jay Ajayi is going to be very good. And then if you look at the Eagles' running game, all they needed was a little bit of balance and to rest the other guys.
Yeah,
and
I'm
now
sure Carson Wentz is elated, man.
Yeah, Carson Wentz is stacked and ready to go. And that might be a Super Bowl contender going forward if they stay healthy.
Right.
All right, so we move on to your bronze medal topic now.
Yeah. I want to talk about this dude, Papa John.
Oh my God, this is a great story. This is a great
Because,
story.
so apparently he says that the protests in the NFL and the way the NFL has handled it, Papa John's being a big sponsor of the NFL, he said it's hurt his pizza sales. And it's funny, it's just like, I guess, like, this is something, I guess, rich white people do if something's not going well. Hey, let's just blame black people for it. You know what I'm saying?
Seriously.
Like, that's always, like, the last resort. And I'm just like, nigga, how about you talk about your trash-ass pizza? How about that? Like, dog, I'll eat Little Caesars over Papa John's, like, any day.
Yeah, well, look in the mirror.
Domino's, like.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you guys are right. The pizza sucks. He has the garlic dipping sauce and stuff with it because it's inedible otherwise.
Right.
But first of all, this dude needs to look in the mirror. Your pizza is way overpriced. It tastes like shit. Oh, and the guy they have in the ads for Papa John's is just terrible, lifeless, and uncharismatic. Oh wait, that's you, Papa John. You're the fucking guy who's in all of the ads for some reason. Like, how? It's named after you. You have to be in all the ads. Like, you must have, like, the most lifted truck ever because you're so insecure. Like, this guy must be in... He has to be in, like, every piece of it.
Right.
I'm surprised his face isn't on the box. Like, he's just crazy.
Wait, wasn't it? I think it was on the box for a little bit. I think it was. I don't eat that trash pizza, so I wouldn't know. But I think...
Nothing makes you hungry like that face.
Right. And it's like... Rich white people are so interesting and funny to me. You have black players protesting because what we talked about earlier about inequality, the justice system, all this shit, and you're worried about your damn pizza sales. Like
pizza.
He has a freaking like 22 car garage, this huge ass mansion.
He literally lives. They showed this when Mitt Romney was campaigning against Obama. The guy owns a lake. He has a palatial estate on the lake, has dozens of servants.
Right.
You know?
He has this huge, bunch of acres estate. He's just struggling so much because of these pizza sales that he's blaming on black players protesting.
That's so funny. It's like Colin Kaepernick's talking about police brutality. He's like, but my pizza sales are down 9.7% this quarter.
You made white people mad and they want to watch TV. Like, dude, like, how much, like, I can't even wrap my brain around it, man.
And it makes no sense. You're on one of the most watched television shows in the world, the NFL.
Yeah.
You're getting amazing publicity. There's no way it's the NFL's fault.
Rich white dudes, y'all have had a bad couple weeks.
I would tell the Papa John's guy to look in the mirror, but I know it's a painful experience.
Right.
So
yeah, rich white dudes had a bad couple with Harvey, this nigga Frank Underwood. Like, I was like, Papa John's just add them onto the list, man.
Yeah.
Black people are getting shot, but pizza. Like, god damn.
Yeah, that's... should we talk any more on that, fool?
I'm done, man.
Yeah.
I'm done.
All right. Last podium topic. I just thought this was pretty interesting. My bronze medal podium topic. Steve Kerr said Greg Popovich should run for president.
I'm down.
And I'm asking, like, in this era of, like, you know, these Donald Trump type presidents, like, would you be down for Greg Popovich? But it is kind of interesting, like, that he's like, you know what we need? An old white guy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I'm not saying Greg Popovich, and that's another thing. I'm not gonna say like all those white guys with money think the same way, because obviously Greg Popovich, he has the actions behind his words with the philanthropy he does and things like that. And then even the things he says are just so great.
And his players love him.
His players love him. And so, like, yeah, I mean, I think he's a great, genuine guy. I mean...
Except the reporters.
Yeah. F those journalists, right?
He's such a dick to sideline reporters.
But it's just kind of like, considering what we do have for president, we literally have a dude that basically ran for president because the NFL wouldn't let him have the bills. So it's just like, we have a child as our president. I wouldn't mind Greg Popovich. But it's interesting what we're getting to, and we're like encouraging all these personalities and celebrities to run for office now, because it's a tainted system. So
I just think it'd be funny though if Donald Trump and Greg Popovich are like in a debate, and Greg Popovich is like talking about his policies, and then Trump's like, but you didn't have anyone box out the rebound for Ray Allen. It was terrible.
Right.
Game 6, what were you doing?
Right.
You know, it'll be so weird.
Trump would definitely bring up the 2012 NBA Finals.
Yeah, it's good. It's just like, I don't know. I do like Greg Popovich though. He is he is a forward thinker and someone I think we need more people like him in the NBA.
Seriously, what do you guys think the Spurs end up doing this season with the injuries and things like that?
Sorry.
To me, I think they'll be fine. If they added a former University of Illinois star, Brandon Paul, who's a tweener guard, small forward, who's been playing really good basketball for them. And I think he's been doing a good job holding down the fort. I think he comes off the bench, plays about 25 minutes a game, and averages about 12 or 13 points. So I think that's pretty good until, Kawhi can get back 100%.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing DeJounte Murray's development as well, playing point guard, because I think he has an opportunity to be a really good guard in the league. He plays defense well. He's got long arms. He's just a long player, and he handles the ball well too. So he just needs a little more experience helming an offense.
So how?
Since you, by the way, get a shot to play more.
Yeah.
How many wins does Greg Popovich need this season to run for president? Like 44?
Nah.
One.
Right, one.
That's so funny. All right, I think I wrapped it up pretty good. That was funny, Russell. So we wrapped up our bronze medal podium topics. We are now at our favorite part of the show. We have our winner's circle and our podium of shame. Let's start with the winner's circle. What do you think is the best of the best stories of the week? Who's in your winner's circle this week?
Winner's circle is
for me, I have a combined winner's circle, but they're from the same area. One, the city of Houston. After everything they went through with Hurricane Harvey and devastation that happened, I think the city of Houston for oh shoot, my light went out.
Oh no.
No, it's all good.
We can still see you. Don't worry.
The city of Houston, after everything they went through and having a Houston Astros team come around them and J.J. Watt also same thing. Yeah. They kind of needed that World Series after a little boost, and they did a really good job for the community right there. Yeah. Also, Carlos Correa got engaged on national TV last night, and that was pretty dope.
Respect. Yeah, the way Carlos Correa really played great defense. He blocked the ball well. Like it was almost. I really thought of like the way Joel Osteen blocked people from the church. I think Carlos Correa really channeled his inner Joel Osteen by not letting the ball get past him this whole series. So, way to go, Carlos Correa. You're my age, so I need to get my life together.
The whole city of Houston was doing great. Deshaun Watson, until he got injured, they were really like the burgeoning sports city because the Houston Rockets were coming up.
Yeah, the Rockets.
It's really a good time to be a Houston sports fan. Yeah. So. I think it's just what they need, so I'm all for it.
Right.
Until the Jazz play the Rockets, I'm all for it. They're killing it. They are killing it. I'm impressed.
Right.
So my winner's circle, just really quick, a local story. Donovan Mitchell has just been killing it for the Jazz, my Jazz, and. After losing Gordon Hayward, we were worried who's going to fill the gap, and we might have gotten one of the steals of the draft. This kid has scored 50 points in 2 games.
Yes.
He had 28 clutch points against the Blazers. He dominated Lonzo Ball and then put one of the most massive dunks on the Lakers, and then actually did some stuff to Kyle Kuzma, which I felt was like Utah crime, but it was. It was just, it was Donovan Mitchell. It's just what we needed after the Gordon Hayward loss, and we really never had an athletic guy who can really do everything. Like he has the ability to make moves in the inside, score from the outside. Mm-hmm. His stealing is amazing. It reminds me of Stockton. Weirdly enough, he has such good anticipation. It's like Ed Reed with a safety. Yeah. Like he's a step ahead of people.
Yeah, he plays well.
And I'm just so impressed with him.
He's definitely a two-way player.
I'm getting a Donovan Mitchell jersey very soon.
You might call me a homer, but my winner's circle, I gotta put Clayton Kershaw there. I don't care. I know he lost. whatever. He put together 4 of the best innings I've
Very
seen.
valiant effort in the loss.
And it's just like he could have, laid down. He could have been pissed off he didn't get to start, whatever. But he went out there and gave it his all. Great season by Clayton Kershaw as well. Great season by the Dodgers. Hey, we won a lot of games. We were 1 game away from winning the World Series. Can't be mad at that.
And wasn't he in Game 5 as well? And it's like every pitcher in Game 5 kind of like was a little out of their zone.
It was
but I felt like out of all the people in the Dodgers, he could really held his head highest.
Yeah, because he like you said in the past they've really trashed him on. He like Clayton choke Shaw and all that kind of stuff, saying he chokes in the playoffs. So it was really good to see him dominate and play well this 2017 playoffs in the World Series. So hopefully, he can get this shot. He can get a chance to, actually win the whole thing. So Clayton Kershaw, you're the man.
All right, that's I really think he changed the narrative on his career.
Definitely.
I think it's important because he was always the best regular season pitcher probably.
Right,
But
he was the Peyton Manning.
yeah, exactly. That's a perfect analogy. But now it's like now he at least cemented somewhat. I hope next year he can really put a nail in that coffin and then kill that notion.
Right.
So the podium of shame. This is really it's the best part of the show. The worst person in sports of the week. We roast them. We take them down. Russell, who's on your podium of shame this week?
My podium of shame is going to be the officials from the Chicago Bears versus New Orleans Saints game on Sunday. Zach Miller made one of the best adjustments I've seen in a while on a pass from Mitchell Trubisky in the end zone that the whole nation thought was a touchdown, and probably the opposite. And they ruled he caught it the entire time all the way to the floor.
It was a really controversial call. This was like
I thought he caught it. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm a Saints fan.
Yeah,
And I really thought they should have reversed that, but they didn't.
Yeah.
And therefore, they are my podium of shame this week.
Usually I give you shit for being a homer. I thought that was a ridiculous call.
It's a bad call. I'm a Saints fan. That was a bad call. No.
And they're actually saying since the reviews have gone to New York, that there have been more reviews, there have been more overturns, there have been more overturns that are more technical and nitpicky and don't really make sense logically when applied. Do you think the replay office being in New York in one centralized location, it's kind of like the NSA, I guess. It's is that something we want exactly, or maybe it's too convoluted?
Maybe.
It just doesn't.
I think it's the whole process of a catch thing that keeps tripping people up.
That's true.
NFL knows what a catch is, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, why does everyone in the bar think one way, and then the technicality of the rules, and then no one there isn't. I think the issue with the NFL these days is not off the field stuff as much as the rules don't really make sense. I have trouble explaining the rules to my mom when she watches now.
Yeah.
Because now even I don't really get it.
Yeah.
Because the rules kind of counter each other. There's too many technicalities, and you think you know the rules and you don't. And I think that's too much of an issue. I feel like it's just too stop and start, and you gotta let them play. You see this with the targeting and the safety issue.
Yeah.
Reviewing that as well. That's really, to me, the biggest issue with the NFL.
Cowboys fans still mad that they said Dez didn't catch that ball.
Yeah, or Calvin Johnson had one. I mean, there's been many historic ones that are ridiculous.
I think that one with Chicago will definitely go down, just like the other ones, because that was a really bad call.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with your podium of shame there. Niles.
Who else could I pick but Mr. Papa John's himself, man? I mean, I don't even think shame is really a word. It's just so insensitive. And the thing is, when you've been up here for so long, you never have to worry what's going on down here. He's literally looking at everything from Ivory Castle. He read a report, saw his sales were down, and he's like, I'm an NFL sponsor. People are protesting. It's their fault. And so instead of looking into himself and saying, hey, I really make shitty pizza, he didn't think about that. So it's just he's in my podium of shame. I hope more black people and brown people don't eat his pizza because obviously he doesn't care about us.
And white people too, Jesus.
True, I was about to say, yeah, white people too.
I mean,
we have taste buds, we have arteries.
I mean, y'all can't season food, so I didn't know if y'all could
I mean, that's true, but I'm Italian, so I'm not in that group.
Yeah, man, Papa John's, bro. He's in my podium of shame. Yeah.
Yeah, first of all, as an Italian, I just want to say, fuck this fake Italian guy. He's whiter than Wonder Bread, and he's like, oh, you want some pizza? I love pizza. The marinara sauce is amazing. Like, this guy does not... he's as Italian, he should not be allowed to go near a pizza oven, okay? Ironically, they probably don't even have them. They probably have microwaves or some shit.
Yeah, and like how Papa John's got wings. I ain't never seen no deep fryer in Papa John's before. Them things come straight out the freezer.
Yeah, oven baked and probably undercooked.
John back there microwaving wings with Peyton Manning's big forehead ass.
Cut that meat. Oh yeah, that was good shit. My podium of shame, Ndamukong Suh. Why are you doing this to me? This has been a tough season. This has been rough, and we're down like what, 26-0. We've already knocked out the first quarterback, and the second quarterback is now whooping our ass. Okay, we've had 2 different Ravens quarterbacks just go down the field on us. We can't score a single goddamn point. Maybe because we signed Jay Cutler at the beginning of the season, we ruined this whole goddamn season because of him. But Ndamukong Suh just grabs Ryan Mallett by the throat. A 6'6", 250-pound man gets lifted like Eric Abbenante. and I was just like, first of all, like, this is not what the NFL needs. They're trying to look a little less soft and player safety, and this guy's choking you out. I mean, it was an embarrassment, and I love this thing in sports. It doesn't matter what you do. Ndamukong Suh literally choked a guy. When the flag got thrown on him, he was complaining.
Yeah.
Like, what is it with this, Carlos Boozer for the Jazz, I swear he could have stabbed somebody. He's like, what, that's a foul? You know, like, what is it with this? What is it with this? You choke somebody, and you're like, I can't believe I got a flag for that. You choke somebody. That's that's assault. It's literally assault.
Yeah.
You know, it's...
Did he get suspended for that?
I think it's gonna come down soon. Like, I don't even know what's appropriate. What do you? Yeah, it should be a suspension though.
Hey, but let him protest and see what happens. God, he'll be on every headline. Ndamukong Suh kneels down on one knee during national anthem. He choked somebody last week. Can we talk about that?
Yeah. I feel just as bad for Ndamukong Suh as I do for Papa John's.
Right.
Like it's like these guys need no sympathy.
No.
Oh my god. But okay, so first of all, the winner's circle gold. Who's the gold, silver, and bronze of the winner's circle?
Probably Houston.
Yeah, Houston has to win.
Yeah.
Houston, and then silver would be...
I'd say Clayton Kershaw getting the playoff monkey off his back. Definitely silver, you know.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then Donovan Mitchell. You get a bronze, but you're on the podium. That's a great start.
To see what he does the rest of the season. He's a good
You
player.
got to the winner's circle. I'm proud of him.
Yeah.
And then for the podium of shame, this is a all-star cast.
Right, all-star.
This is one of the best. I think...
We got Peter Fender and Ndamukong Suh.
I think Russell is going to get bronze today because Ndamukong Suh and Papa John, these are 2 heavyweights. I think Papa John wins the gold, though.
He might, man.
I think Papa John, you get the podium of shame today. Just because Ndamukong Suh has never served me bad pizza.
Right.
Well, the Skype call ended. I think that's about as good of a time to say.
How would you rate the quality of this call, guys?
I would rate it 1 fucking star as it closes out right before it ends.
Right.
That was Russell Dorsey. He's a Chicago sports journalist. He is a 22-year-old prodigy. All right, we were literally just wrapping it up, but it's good that you're back. That's you know, he wasn't back. He wasn't here last week because he has like an actual job and shit. But like he is our favorite. He is really the backbone of this. We are so glad to have you back. Thank you for coming back. This really feels like the podium when you're here.
Don't leave me with these white people again. I'm serious.
This has been an amazing episode. Congrats to the Houston Astros again. You definitely deserved it over these fake LA fans, all 6 of them, including Niles and his family. I just want to say this has been a great episode. You can see us every Thursday. We shoot live here in Hollywood. Russell comes to you live from Chicago. We will see you next Thursday. Thank you so much.
Don't eat Papa John's. He doesn't like you.
That garlic dipping sauce is even terrible too.
That's a wrap. Good episode, y'all.